Welcome to the Points Performance Podcast with me, Tom Blay. This is episode 41. This week, I am joined by Anna Johnson, who is a member of CrossFit 3D. Very special person, very special part of our gym, her and her husband, Steve. And we're going to talk about her life today and her journey into CrossFit, because I think it's a really important story. And yeah, she's awesome. So Anna, introduce yourself.
Hello. Yep, I'm Anna Johnson. I've been a member at 3D now for, what do we say, coming up to about 2 years. I think I joined in July 2019, although I've kind of like lost a year. So
Yeah.
It's a bit strange. I've been doing CrossFit before I joined 3D. So I think I've been doing CrossFit now for about 4.5 years. And as Tom mentioned, I've got cystic fibrosis, and I've found that doing CrossFit has had like a massive impact on my health, on my CF, for many different levels, and also my mental health as well. I think fitness is important for everyone, but for me, I find that it's like one of the things that I just need to do. It's like part of my treatment.
So you just talk first a little bit about what cystic fibrosis is and how it affects your life.
Yeah, so it's a genetic condition. You sort of inherit it from your parents, which is nice. It's basically a faulty gene. The fault in the gene, it affects the movement of salt and water through your cells, which basically affects all your bodily functions. It makes thick, sticky mucus, and that impacts mainly your lungs and your digestive system, because the salt and water can't basically move through your system properly. So having thick mucus in your lungs means that bacteria can settle in there. It makes you much more prone to chest infections. Then your airways get blocked, you struggle with breathing, have a persistent cough. And then with your digestive system, a lot of your enzymes get stuck in the pancreas, because again, like the mucus, things can't like move through properly. So your enzymes are sort of stuck in there. You can't digest your food properly. You don't absorb all the nutrients from your food. So consequently, you have to eat more, but then you have difficulty processing it all as well, which affects your energy levels. The salt is an issue because you get easily dehydrated. Like when you sweat, everybody loses salt and electrolytes when they sweat, but cystic fibrosis, you lose a lot more. So you dehydrated, then you struggle again. Energy is affected.
And I've noticed that when you've posted your food on Facebook or Instagram, you eat a lot.
Yeah, I do eat a lot.
And like that makes sense now, because I'm looking at that like, how's she put that away? Like, she's tiny.
I know, that's the thing. It's like everyone's been saying this to me like for my whole life. It's like, how can you eat all that? And Steve says, my CF made him fat. Like 2 years ago, like he started to put on some weight because he was eating the same as me, or I was, because you normally think the
usually it's the other way around. It's like
tends to eat
a
less,
female will start to eat as much as a male.
Yeah,
it's like you need a smaller plate, love. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, maybe Steve needs a smaller plate. It's a good strategy. That was
it. So it's the opposite way around. It's quite funny. Wow. So yeah, that is a thing you do have to eat, because you particularly don't digest fat. The fat just sort of goes straight through you, and that causes all kinds of problems because you don't digest it properly, and you can get blockages then as well in your bowel, and lots of.
Do you have to avoid any foods, would you say?
Not really, no. Like the general advice for CFs, and I'd say it's slightly outdated now. It definitely is outdated. They make you eat a high calorie, high fat diet. That's what they've always done, because like young children like fail to thrive basically. So they just like get as many calories in as possible and like eat crisps, eat chocolate, eat cream, eat all the bad things basically. But I've sort of like learned over the years and found myself that certain foods don't make me feel good. You can eat all that stuff, but like you'll know yourself, like you want it because it tastes good and everything, but then your body doesn't really feel great
it's
afterwards,
crap.
does it?
You need quality whole foods, don't you? And if you just get in your, even if it's high calorie, it's high energy, it's still crap. And it's going to it'd make anybody, even someone who's not suffering with CF feel bad. It'd make me feel bad.
Makes you, eventually, it makes you feel sort of like lethargic. And I struggle a lot with bloating and stuff, which is a symptom. And I found that just eating a wide range of foods, like loads of like fresh stuff and, healthy stuff, because I was always told to avoid salads. It's like, why are you eating a salad? You need to put on weight. I've been constantly hammered, like as a child, with eating all the fat things, but you need a bit of everything. And I found that sort of like the natural fats are better than the processed ones.
I've seen that you eat like a lot of avocado and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with avocado. It's like, I think
there's normally a big green thing on your plate, isn't there? Like
basically, I eat an avocado every day, but I find that I'm better with things like that, like, healthy fats like nuts and things. So that's a way of getting all the fat in and the calories, rather than eating like the chocolate and the cheese. Because I've also got, it's another complication of CF. Now I've got diabetes as well, which tends to happen to you as you get a little bit older. I've probably had it since I was about 20.
How old are you now,
with our
Anna?
kind of diabetes, it's...
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 39.
39.
Yeah.
You don't look it,
cracking on a bit. So the diabetes it's slightly different to the normal diabetes. It's called cystic fibrosis related diabetes, and it's basically just because you can't, again, because of like the blockages in your pancreas, the insulin can't get out properly to digest your food. So I do take insulin, but at the same time they still want you to eat all the calories, so you don't get told to avoid sugar and things that your typical diabetic sufferer would do. So I tend to minimize my putting like sugar in my tea, drinking sugary drinks, because I find it affects my blood sugar, and I'm like, I'll go high, then I'll go low, and it's just a bit hard to control. So
you're definitely going to be very sensitive to that. It's the same advice as you'd give anyone. Eat whole natural foods as much as you possibly can. And like as much as you'd say, have a bit of balance and give yourself a break every now and then. It's just a little bit more important for you, isn't it? Just to avoid the crap a little bit.
So it's just been trial and error.
Are you doing pretty well?
My way, what works with me, and I take the advice on, but then I just sort of like apply it to myself and know how I've tuned into how my body feels.
Everyone's been to the doctor, and they may have given them some dietary advice, and you take a look at the doctor and you're like, nah, you're at least not following your own advice. So what was life like before you started training, and when did you find that training was really beneficial to your health?
I'd say I did start training probably in my early 20s, I think, but it was very intermittent, and I'd be like, I'd join a gym and I'd like hammer it for like a few weeks at a time, and I'd be like, this makes me feel good, and then you just get bored, don't you? Like, going to like normal gyms, just
aerobic classes and just sitting on the bike and stuff like that.
Like you'd go and have your induction, you'd get your little program, and you'd be like, I'm going to do this every day, and you do it, and it's just boring, and you've got to like motivate yourself to do it. And then I'd sort of like maybe have a chest infection, to go, well, I can't go now, I don't feel good, so I'd like drop off a little bit. And then I had phases of doing swimming every day. I used to go swimming every day before work at one point, but everything just sort of like dropped by the wayside, and I never really did it properly. And actually, exercise is encouraged now by your doctors, like your CF doctors. And whenever I was an inpatient, when I was in for IVs for a chest infection, they do have an exercise team as part of the physio team, and they'll come around and they literally knock on every patient's door and be like, are you coming for exercise today? Are you coming for exercise today? And I always said, yeah. I'd give myself a few days at the beginning, because I'd be that ill, I didn't feel like doing anything, and then I'd be like, right, come and get me every day. And I'd go there, and they take you off to the physio gym, and you've just got like a little one-on-one session, and they'll just work on whatever you want, whether it's like running, or they've got weights in there, they've got a rowing machine. And I used to love that because I was like, well, that's, it's, get out of my room for a day, because you're just in a room on your own when you're in hospital. And I found it really, really helped. So I just sort of like kept on doing that. And then I was just always looking for something good to do. And then it was Steve, my husband. He wanted to go and join CrossFit because of my brother-in-law, Lee. He'd been going on about CrossFit 3D for years.
He does talk about it a little bit, doesn't he?
He
a little bit.
Likes it.
I think he likes it a little bit.
Yeah. So I used to take the mick out of him and say, oh, what is this CrossFit? Because I'd never heard of CrossFit before. And I used to think it was like some kind of like cult, because he was obsessed with it. And Steve was like, oh, I really like the sound of it. But he wasn't sure whether he'd be able to do it from an eyesight point of view, because he's registered blind. So anyway, I contacted our local CrossFit gym. I found it on Facebook and said, like, can we come and have an induction? My husband's blind, and I'll bring him along, and we'll see if it's something we could do. So it wasn't for me. It was for Steve, and I went with him, but I thought, I'll just put my trainers on and my leggings on, and I might, see what happens when we get there. So anyway, we met Bethany, the owner, and she was brilliant, actually. Because she was helping sort of Steve figure out if it was something he wanted to do. She gave us like 4 sessions, like 4 free sessions, just us. And we basically went through all the CrossFit moves, and she did little WODs with us, and it was awful. I found I nearly died. I was like, I think I did like a 5-minute AMRAP of like kettlebell swings with like a 2-kilo kettlebell or something, and like some other things. And I was absolutely dying on the floor at the end. And then I was like, oh, this is actually quite good. And Steve was like, well, do you want to join with me? So I did. And that was when
to be fair, he needs a lift as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does work out quite well.
So I was thinking, well, obviously I'm going to be taking him. So I thought, well, I may as well do it, because I need to do something else. So we joined.
Yeah. Did you find that it was a bit more entertaining as well, instead of like the standard Globo gym sort of session?
100%. Yeah, we watched a class, I think, as well, on one of these like sessions that we had. So we watched a class, and it was like the 5:30 evening class, I think, and it was the middle of summer, and like everyone was like running in and out of the gym, no tops on and stuff. I was like, what is this? I was like, you don't normally see that, do you, in like pure gym? And instead of being like sort of like intimidated, I thought, actually, it's quite cool. So we
I bet you did.
So we joined, and then that was never looked back.
Brilliant.
And that was 2016, I think it was, when we first joined.
So you enjoyed that, and then eventually, like, you had a few friends over at 3D, Lee, your brother-in-law, and Dean Cunningham as well.
Yeah. Steve works with Dean, so
and then they just mithered you to come over, didn't they? Why did they come up? There was I can't remember. Was your place shut for a refurb or something?
Yeah, so it was being sold, and right. Yeah, so it was being taken over, and in the interim period, there was like a couple of weeks where the gym was shut. So we said, for those 2 weeks, we need to go somewhere else, need to do something. So we said, we may as well go and do like a 2-week drop-in with 3D. So I think we just signed up for like the 2 weeks.
That was all we needed, wasn't it?
That was it. Yeah,
that was it.
We came for those 2 weeks, didn't we? And then we were like, we're going back now. And we weren't like sure what was happening with the new gym, and it opened, and then we thought, actually, we fancied a change, and then just went for it and signed up.
Brilliant.
And then you've never been rid of us since.
No, just for the past year.
Well, just for the past year.
Just for the entire year.
Yeah, but we're still there.
We lost you, and you're coming back soon, aren't you?
Yep. 12th of April. Yeah.
So when we open up fully indoors, you're back in.
Yep.
And we've got you then. Wicked. Yep. So tell me about this last year. So I mean, if it was me and I had cystic fibrosis and I heard that the gyms were going to shut, I'd be like, oh dear, like I need this, because obviously not just to not get chubs and lose all your gains, but to have a better quality of life.
Yeah. I was, at the time, I was gutted, because I think we sort of started isolating before you actually closed the gym, I think, because everything had sort of like got a bit crazy. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do now. Cause that's like it's not the main thing in my life, but it's the thing that keeps me going. And it's like, I get up in the morning, I do the training, and I feel great after it. Never want to actually get out of bed and do it, but like, I know it's brilliant. And every morning I just love it. So I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do now. But we've cracked on. We've got kit at home. Obviously 3D have been absolutely amazing. We've got a rowing machine. You've given us a barbell. We bought a load of equipment. I bought dumbbells, bought kettlebells. Steve had already got a rig outside. So we thought, well, we've got the setup. So just crack on, just get on with it. So we started doing that by ourselves. And then obviously you've been brilliant. You've had the Zooms like every day. So we've kept in touch with everyone, and we've managed to train like pretty much every day. So
it's just been crack on as normal, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has really. Because you could just sort of like sit at home and think, well, we're not in the gym, but then it's just one of those things. You've just got to deal with it and keep going, because otherwise you'll suffer. You will personally really suffer. Yeah.
If you stop. Tell me about some of your achievements. So you said that when you did that first session with Beth at the old CrossFit Warrington Black Lab,
yes,
swinging a baby bell with some string in it for a kettlebell.
Yeah.
Tell me like your biggest achievements in the gym. What do you consider your biggest achievements? I
would say getting pull-ups, I think, because at first I used to like dangle on the bar, and I was like using bands and things. I'd never even tried a pull-up. I don't think I'd even hung on a bar before. I managed to train myself to do them. Managed to do strict ones and kipping ones, and to be able to do them in a WOD. I went through like all the progressions, and then one day I remember Alan. You know Alan King, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was coaching one of the classes, and he'd been on holiday, I think, and he came back, and we had a class. I think it was like thrusters, running, and pull-ups, something like that. And I just jumped on and I did like a set of 5 kipping pull-ups. He was like, "Where have you got those from?" And it was just like, "Yeah, I can do them now."
Brilliant.
So there's that. There was also running. Like I know like CrossFit isn't all about running, but it really trained me. It just got me that much fitter to think, oh, actually I want to like enter a 10k. So I kept running with Steve, and eventually I did the Warrington 10k a couple of years ago. Managed to do that in like 53 minutes.
Wow. And that's really impressive, because the Warrington 10k, you're avoiding like cars on fire, people shooting at you, people trying to stab you. So that's really impressive.
Yeah.
And lugging Steve with you. Not bad.
Exactly.
Very good.
It talked to me the whole way around, but that's what I need. I need like pushing. So it was like a fun run for him, but it was like all out effort for me.
Trying to respond.
Yeah.
We've had a few little setbacks, which fortunately have been nothing to do with your cystic fibrosis. Mm-hmm. And they've been a little bit more to do with you being a clumsy bugger.
Yeah, well, yeah, they kind of are linked.
Little bit both.
Yeah, because I've got osteoporosis, which is like a complication again of CF, because of like, as if you don't absorb all your nutrients, you don't put on weight. So if you've got like a lower body weight for like most of your life, you are more prone to like bone problems. Plus I take steroids. I've been taking steroids for about 10 years. So obviously that thins your bones. Yeah. And I've managed to break a few things over the years.
So did you do any training at that point when you broke your foot?
I've broke my foot twice now. The first time was when I just joined 3D, I think.
I think you had,
the first time I broke it, and I did sort of carry on. Then I did a few things. Yeah, you did.
Did you know when it was? It was it was during the Open in 2000. Yes. It was the 20 Open, wasn't it? So the 20.1. I'm sure I remember you skipping. Maybe
I skipped on one leg. Yeah,
you skipped on one leg. That's pretty hard to do that.
Yeah,
especially with a big boot on the other foot.
that was it. I wanted to do it because I'd always done, like, ever since I'd joined, I'd always done the open, and I thought, right, well, I'll do what I can do. I think I'd more or less recovered. I don't think it was that bad by that point.
It's getting there, wasn't it? I think
yeah.
it was the toes to bar thruster double under one.
Yes.
Yeah, 20.2.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so I did that. And I think before that, I think I managed to do it. The programming was a 5K row. So I rode the 5K with one leg, and Phil gave me a skateboard.
That's right. Yeah.
So I rested my boot on the skateboard. I was just like,
brilliant.
And I did the whole 5K, I think. And I managed to get it in under 30 minutes.
Amazing. We need to talk about 5K rowing, don't we?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
So during lockdown, you started a 5K rowing program.
Yeah.
And then you broke your foot again the week before the retest. Now I've been thinking that now, looking back, you did that on purpose, so you didn't have to do it.
Quite extreme though, that, isn't it? I don't do things by heart.
I don't want to do this row.
So so I'd started this program because I needed some inspiration. So I think I contacted you, didn't I, and said, like, I need some rowing rods to make me row, I want to sort of like get my cardio like up again. So you gave me this program and started doing it, and every session's just awful, isn't it? It's like really hard. You've got to push. But at the same time, I was thinking, right, okay, I'm actually feeling better. Like towards the end of it, I thought I felt stronger, and I was thinking, hopefully I'll be able to beat my time. And I felt quite confident. And I did the penultimate interval session, which I think was 3Ks.
Yeah, so it's 6K of rowing every session. And it's, how many is it now? 255, 150.
It's about 8.
It was at 255, 750, 1Ks, 1.5. There's 7 weeks, and then there's a retest. That's right. That's it. Yeah. And you already knew your 5K PB, so you did all the 7 weeks.
Yeah. And then I walked down the stairs, and then stepped off the bottom step, which turned out wasn't the bottom step, it was the one above it, and went down like an absolute sack of spuds.
Shit.
Like, yeah, basically.
I hate it. Was it dark? Was it one of them where you just...
No, it was the middle of the day. I don't know what I was doing. Like, it just came down, and then I was just like lay on the hall going, Steve, help me. I was like, I can't get up. So he lifted me up, put me on the couch. I was like looking at my foot, and I was like, okay. So I just sat there for a bit with some ice on it. And then I was like, it's not good, this. And I left it for a bit, and I left it till the next day, and it went black. And then I was like, right, I feel like it feels a bit like it did last year when I broke it. So like phone my sister's like, can you take me to A&E? So she took me to the hospital. They x-rayed it, and I'd fractured my 4th and 5th metatarsal. So I'd gone one better than last year. So they're like, right, there you go. There's your boot. I was like, right, well, that's me rowing rowing program over.
Well, the good thing is you got to do it again.
I did get to do it again.
So you did it again.
I did it again. Went through the whole thing, and I managed to get a PB on my 5K rowing. I think I knocked off 1 minute and 40 seconds off my first one.
big chunk of time, that.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me a little bit about, so you went for an assessment, didn't you, after that 5K row test? So after all your training at home, after breaking your foot, after training again, you went for a checkup, is that right?
Yeah, I went for, went to Broad Green for my regular sort of CF checkup. How
often do you do that?
It's every sort of like 8 to 10 weeks, depending on how well I am. If I'm not very well, you can pretty much just go whenever you need to. But usually, if I'm well, it's like 8 to 10 weeks. And at the moment, most of them are actually like this. They're over like an NHS Zoom type links, they're virtual appointments where you see everyone. So anyway, the main thing that you do when you go to these clinic appointments, you test your lung function, which I've been doing for obviously since I was a child. And this, I managed to get the highest lung function result that I've had in probably about 10 years. The doctor said it's like since he's got no records of them being that high, because I don't think the records actually go that far back on the computer.
Right.
So, and it's something that I've been trying to get higher and higher. But
some technical difficulties there in Warrington. Someone stole the internet.
Yeah, the black spot.
All right, back on it. So yeah, we were talking about you did your assessment, you did your checkup with the NHS, which is just a regular one. They couldn't find a higher lung function for a long time. So that's amazing.
I can't remember, getting those numbers at all. Definitely not in the last 10 years, I would say. And I've been working at it. I've managed to keep it since I'd started CrossFit. I've managed to keep stable, and like every now and again, I have like a little bit of a drop.
Do you have like numbers? Do you have numbers? So like, it's like 7 out of 10 or something.
Yeah, it's percentages. So basically, for the last few years, I've been managing to maintain around 70% of like my predicted lung function for my sort of age group, you know, for like a peer, for somebody who's got no underlying health condition. So 70% is whereabouts I normally track. And then when I dip down, like when I injured myself, I've probably dipped down to about 55%. And I've been lower than that in the past, but
what do you feel?
So 70 is like
at that point.
I was happy if I could keep to 70%, or if I get, maybe 72, that was good. And Steve kept saying, you need to get higher. And for some reason, I just couldn't seem to push above that. But then now I hit 81%.
Wow.
That's what I got a few weeks ago when I was tested. So I was absolutely over the moon with that.
Huge.
Because I thought I'd never sort of get there. Yeah.
That's really big. Maybe you upped your dose of steroids. But that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Steve's put an extra few in the cereal. But no, that's really impressive.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry to cut you off. And do you know when you're injured, when it goes down to like 50, 55, how does it feel? Like what do you feel?
Everything's just generally harder, and I cough a lot more.
Right.
You've normally got more sort of going on in your chest, like coughing up all this sort of mucus that's there. There's just more of it, and just breathing's harder. Everything is just harder.
Like even like just going up the stairs, walking up the stairs, walking down the stairs, walking down 2 steps.
Everything like that, sort of like walking, running, everything. Cool. Don't talk to me about the stairs. Whereas like now, and it's partly, like I say, I'm on this new medication as well, which that literally helps the genes work better, helps the I'm not explaining this well at all. I should have written this down properly. It basically treats the genes at a cellular level. So my water and salt imbalance will be a lot better now.
Yeah, because it alters your cells to change them a little bit more. Like a normal sort of like body type. Yeah,
enables them to function better. So I've noticed, like I had what they call the purge. So I basically spent 2 days coughing up all the old junk that was stuck down in the bottom of my lungs that I've not been able to clear for years, because obviously I do a lot of airway clearance. I take a lot of medication to try and do it, and I've been coughing up stuff for years. That's how it works. You have to just sort of get rid of it, because otherwise the bacteria gets in, you get infections and you get poorly. So I started taking this medication, and it's brought all of that old stuff out. And basically I can breathe better. It's cleared a lot of my airways as well.
Wow.
So I feel like I can take in a deeper breath now.
I think I need some of that.
And I can laugh without coughing.
Oh, and that doesn't, that's huge. That's huge though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
it is. It is amazing.
Mm.
So it means then, because I can take these deeper breaths, now I can like push harder when I'm training,
Yeah.
and everything's all like.
I bet when the cinema opens, you won't be as worried as well. Like if you're giggling your head off at the cinema at a film, and you're like trying to like fight back a cough.
That's one of the things I've spent years doing, and it sounds like a stupid little thing. It's like trying not to cough, but whenever you're somewhere where it's quiet, that's when you need to cough the most. So I used to go to like regular yoga classes, and like at the end, you do a lovely little bit of relaxation at the end, and a bit of mindfulness, and your body settles, and you have to lie on your back and do it. And like the worst thing for me is lying on your back. So you know what it's like as soon as if you've got like a cough or a chest infection yourself, as soon as you lie down, that's it, you cough. And everyone else is like, falling asleep, snoring. And I'm like, I'm tense as anything because I'm trying not to cough.
You don't think about it, do you?
Now, no.
Well,
so now I can get through the night most of the time now without coughing, which is like, it's just really cool. Because normally I'd like, might not be too bad during the day, but as soon as you go to bed and try and sleep, that's when everything settles. And
do you prop yourself up a little bit, or?
Yeah, I've always had like loads of pillows. I can't really lie flat, but I could probably can now a little bit, but I'm just that used to being in a certain position.
Yeah, you need to be like inclined, like you're on holiday on the sun lounge.
I'm just bent
inclined
forwards.
bench. That's amazing, and that's something you just wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't think about. Obviously, it's huge for you, but that's incredible, and it's sort of all just come together, hasn't it? Like you've managed to get a bit fitter, but that medication sounds like it's done wonders for you.
It has, but like if I hadn't have like kept myself so fit, then I don't. It might not have had such an impact. So I just think it's all sort of like hand in hand. It's like a just a really positive cycle.
Yeah.
Everything working together. You need to do a bit of everything.
Yeah, and if one of them's lacking, one of them's like if your diet's crap, then you'll feel it. But then again, if any of them drop, and it's a bit like when you start to see the benefits of one of them, it makes you want to train harder, makes you want to eat better.
Yeah, exactly. It's like doing everything. Like another thing I was going to say as well is obviously I've talked about having broken bones. Like I broke my foot a few times, and I've broken various vertebrae. And that's from like something simple as just coughing. So all the coughing that I do in the night, that can just break a vertebrae or crack a rib. I did 3 ribs like just before I joined 3D. I think I did that, and that put me in hospital because I ended up getting a chest infection because I couldn't breathe properly. So I ended up getting all clogged up and having to go in for a few weeks. But I'm hoping now that'll sort of, because I'm not coughing as much, that won't happen as much, and I can.
And also you're sleeping better, and the health benefits of sleeping through the night a bit easier are going to be huge. That's huge.
Definitely. Yeah.
I've no doubt that like your lung function will increase even more, like when you get into the gym as well.
Yeah. No, it should do. It should, because I'll be doing more, moving around more, and. It's just great. Just everything about training is good. I've managed to build up my bone density as well by doing weight bearing training, which I didn't actually know was a thing. But I think when I started having the issues with my bones, I was told that, weight bearing exercise is good. And I was like, okay, well, I've just joined this gym and we're doing a lot of weight training and there's running in it. 'Cause anything with impact, it's not just like lifting weights, but doing running,
jumping on the box.
Yeah, everything like that is good for it. And so obviously I'd done that for a few years, and I had a DEXA scan where they scan like your bone density, and it was actually improved, which he said is quite rare. Like you can sort of like maintain, or as you get older, you do, especially women, they lose bone density, don't they, because their estrogen levels drop. But I've just sort of hit that point earlier in my life because of the treatment and things that have been on. But anyway, I've managed to increase that bone density, and I'm hoping that maybe I might have managed to increase it again because I've kept on with this type of training.
Yeah, brilliant. It sounds like it's just as essential as eating right is for you.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
like you can't, it's the best possible thing. If you think about what type of training's involved with CrossFit, it's everything that you need really to thrive, and also not to get bored.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've
That was
got
a
to be
major thing for
entertained.
me. Yeah.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the thing that I've stuck at the longest. Like I've not stuck at anything for this long before, and I'm not going to give up. Like when I think I've had all these injuries, but I've still wanted to go to the gym and train because CrossFit's so adaptable and it's going to be scaled around pretty much anything.
Yeah,
it encourages you to go, and you've got people, obviously people who are like fully trained, like yourself, who know what will work with certain injuries, and you can work around things. It's like there's nothing really that you can't do.
Yeah.
So I'd say to anyone who's got any kind of health condition, whether it's CF or any kind of even like a disability, there's always something that you can do in CrossFit, and you can make
100%.
yourself stronger, fitter, which is going to just help with everything, your mental health as well.
Yeah, I think people have that worry that I've heard this loads of times as a trainer, that people are like, oh, I need to get fit before I come to CrossFit. I need to get fit. I'm like, no, don't waste any time. Just come.
You don't. I think even if you get really fit before you start CrossFit, doesn't mean you can
still gonna
do
suck
CrossFit.
when you start. It's still gonna hurt. And I've been doing it for like, nearly 8 years now, and it still hurts. It still sucks sometimes.
Well, you work to your capacity, don't you? So you've got everyone in the gym is at a different level, and everyone has the same. Everyone maybe does a slightly different workout, but if you're working to like the stimulus, then you should be
everyone should feel the same. We can do the same workout and still be just as knackered at the end.
Exactly.
We're feeling the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's I think the saying is that it's not for everyone, but it is for anyone.
Yeah.
As cheesy 100%. As, but it is, and everyone can get something out of it. But
exactly,
the time we're in at the minute, and every health wise, everything that everybody's going through at the minute, it just shows you how important exercise is to all of us.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And I think what's been really good about CrossFit, because I think most CrossFit gyms have done similar to 3D in the fact that they've loaned out the equipment to members, they've put the Zoom classes on, they've kept people in contact with each other as well. Because if you've got other people that are logging on at 6 a.m. or to do something, you're more likely to do it, aren't you? That whether that. Yep. If you're on your own at home, even if you've got a kettlebell or you've got some kind of equipment, it's just not as inspiring when you're on your own, is it?
Yeah. Especially when it's just the place you're relaxing as well, like doing kettlebell swings and burpees in your front room, and then sitting down in your front room is like, that's it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but when there's other people doing it, it doesn't seem as bad. So I've loved it. It's kept me going, seeing everyone every morning, because you've still got that social interaction,
that accountability as well.
Yeah, more of that than I have with work, for example. So that's my little social circle. Get to see everyone, and it's great, and get fit.
Yeah, but 2 weeks, mate. 2 weeks today, and we'll get to see your lovely faces back in the gym. So I really, really appreciate your time today, Anna. It's been great to chat. We can definitely do this in the future. I'd love to see. To see you back on when we've got that lung function to 90% plus.
Woohoo! Yeah. There's the goal.
That and a 200 kilogram back squat, eh?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh yeah. Easy. But yeah, thanks very much for coming on. Thanks for listening, guys. See you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye.